are tuning into the Ask Schellie show. Is it okay for your partner to ask for a threesome? That is what we're talking about today. The woman that wrote in says that her partner is requesting a threesome. I will get into the question in just a few moments, but guess what? We have breath. If you are tuning in live or catching the replay, you have the breath of life, and that is worthy of praise. Yes? Welcome, welcome, welcome again to the Ask Schellie show. My name is Schellie Fan. I am your emotional intelligence expert. I'm the CEO and owner of Ask Schellie Consulting, where we partner with corporations, bringing them to peak performance through the provision of psychoeducation. I have the privilege of working with individuals, adolescents, couples, and families, providing therapy, evidence-based therapeutic interventions that bring them to their next level, that helps them to achieve irreplaceable versions of themselves. I have the privilege of let me get that together, because I was about to say that I'm a speaker. Just not today. I have the privilege of traveling the United States of America and beyond, just providing empowerment and practical skills and all things wellness in the form of motivational speaking and transformational speaking, empowerment speaking. I have the privilege of delivering powerful messages to the masses that helps them achieve, again, what? Irreplaceable versions of themselves, motivate people to take responsibility in overcoming their emotional injury, motivate people to step into the power that they have to influence outcomes in the earth. And I have the privilege and the honor of hosting the Ask Schellie show. Make sure you go into the comments. Let me know who you are and where you are tuning in from. Is it okay for your partner to ask for a threesome? That's what we are talking about today. The woman that wrote in says that her partner of a long time, not sure what that is, has asked her for a threesome, and she wants to know if she should be offended. And I love the fact that I have my consultation team here on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure that you go into the comment section, leave your feedback. You can also find the pinned comment on Facebook. It actually gives you the link where you can join me on stage. Yay! You can keep your cameras off. You don't have to display your name, and you can provide your feedback right here live on stage with yours truly. Hi, Dawn from Orlando, Florida. Hello, Martine from Port Charlotte. Thank you so much for tuning in. Is it okay for a man to ask his woman for a threesome? Let me know what you think. Again, assure that you are engaging. Click like, give me hearts, share. You never ever know. You never know who this replay, right? Or whose line of sight or whose line of hearing this will fall in. So each one teach one. We set out to add tools to everybody's wellness toolbox. We want everyone's wellness toolbox to be overflowing, so you are not only resorting to your automatic zone, your auto zone, but you are going about life and going about life's challenges in a skillful way. So click share. I appreciate your shares. Thank you for trusting me with your share. Again, we set out to cause everyone within the sound of our voice, right? Those who tune in, our goal is to motivate people to live a full and self-actualized life. Hello, True Tony Bonaparte. Thank you so much for tuning in. He says threesome with, 1, 2, 3, 4 fists in the air. Only if 2 women, he says, and should be from out of town. Thank you so much for all of that feedback. Again, let me know what your perspective is. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Again, if you look at the pinned comment, there is a link that takes you right to this stage where you are able to share your thoughts live right here on the Ask Schellie show. So let me go ahead and get to the question. Are you ready for the question, YouTube? Are you ready for the question, Facebook? Go into the comments and say, yes, we are ready. I want to make sure that my consultation team is ready. Listen, I'm not doing this alone. right? Your feedback is valuable. Remember, this is for entertainment and informational purposes only. This is in no way an attempt to replace therapy. For those of you who feel that you need that intervention, I'll be providing more information at the end of this show on how you can connect with the Ask Schellie consulting team. All right, here we go. Are we ready for the question? And it reads, Dear Ask Schellie, my partner has asked me to arrange a threesome and I am feeling a way about it. I am not really sure what I feel or how to feel. If I had to pick an emotion, I would choose inadequate. Not sure if this is an emotion, but it is definitely how I feel. We have been together for a while now and thought we were thriving sexually. Apparently, we are not. He claims he wants this for me and not for him. That sounds like bull. And she puts a curse word there. Should I be offended is her question. I'm going to repeat that question. For those of you who are tuning in, be sure to click share, share, share. We want to make sure the message gets out to the masses. For those of you who want to join me here on stage, all you have to do is click that link. Join me right here. We already have, it looks like we have a guest that is ready to join me on stage. I'm going to repeat the question and I'm going to bring the guest on with me to share feedback. For those of you who have feedback and you want to share it live right here, you don't even have to show your face. Click on that link, keep your cameras off, and join me right here on the Ask Schellie stage. All right, I'm going to repeat the question and get to our guest. Dear Ask Schellie, my partner has asked me to arrange a threesome and I am feeling a way about it. I am not really sure what I feel or how to feel. If I had to pick an emotion, I would choose inadequate. Not sure if that is an emotion, but it is definitely how I feel. We have been together for a while now, and I thought we were thriving sexually. Apparently, we are not. He claims he wants this for me and not for him. I got a smile on that part, okay? I don't know about that, but he says he claims he wants this for me and not for him. That sounds like bull, S-H-I-T. Should I be offended? Where's my consultation team? Go ahead into the comment section. Let me know what you think. Hello, Sandra. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ask Schellie show. All right, so we have our first guest that's coming and joining us live. You can go ahead and unmute your line. We have our first guest here that is joining the Ask Schellie show. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Schellie. This is the Ask Schellie show. You can go ahead and unmute your line and share your feedback.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Schellie. So how do I think this is a fantastic question, actually. And I've actually been in conversations with other women about this as well. So I wanted to jump in and just share. Is it okay if I speak as if I'm speaking to her, or do
Absolutely.
I
go ahead?
Okay. All right. So first of all, I want to say to your writer, no, you should not be offended. And as for your emotions, you are 1000% entitled to how you feel. But with that being said, you also owe it to yourself to understand why you feel the way you do. You know, where is it coming from? Because it seems like you made this just about you and not necessarily the two of you. So to me, I say, instead of like feeling inadequate, be curious. And I'm not necessarily speaking into the experience itself, but more so curious about why he asked. You know, so was it because of something he saw? Was it because of something maybe he and his friends were talking? Did he see something by himself? Did he see something, you know, when the two of them were together? So to me, it's kind of like the point would be to find the trigger. What made him ask you for that? So really, to me, this is an excellent opportunity to have an intimate conversation, right? So, and this can fly in so many directions, because I didn't hear anything about why the question was asked, or just that he asked to arrange it, right? So the person also said, or I should say, you said, your sex life was thriving, and he says it was for you, right? And so guys are funny that way. So they are good at projection, right? They are good at saying, oh, this is all for you. You know, low key, it's for me. So, and like I said, this can fly in so many directions because to me, I think the question is lacking some information. I don't think there's a full story. But based on what was presented, I didn't hear anything about why he asked you. So I also didn't hear, was it with another man? Was it with another woman? We didn't hear how the conversation came up. Were you having dinner? It's like, oh, rice and beans are good. Hey, want to have a threesome? I didn't hear how it came out. I mean, it could have been in the midst of an intimate situation that kind of made it come out. And here we are. Okay, it just brought up a memory. So like I said, this is to me where you flip it. You get into his head. Don't ask, don't question if you are enough. Don't question if you're good enough. It's really to figure out what's causing it. And it doesn't mean that it's bad, because some people hear cause and effect and they feel like, oh, this cause will cause a negative effect. Look, we looked at something so incredibly erotic, the effect, we're going to have sexy time. It doesn't matter. The point is to figure out what's driving it. So maybe it's just something different. And so many people are so easy to have sex, but it's a whole other level of intimacy when you can actually speak to each other about what you like, what you don't like. Some things you're just too scared to speak on because it's a reflection of you as a total person, but your sexuality is just this little piece. So maybe he's just trying to share a fantasy. Maybe he experienced something before and now he's in this great relationship and now he wants to try it again and it's safe, and maybe he thought it was. So to me, a comfort zone for those types of conversations, I think, is completely key. But, like I said, it's nice to know what triggered it. It's nice to see if maybe you could take that conversation and make it into something that you're more comfortable with. So rather than focusing on being inadequate, just take that step back and look at how you are sexually with him, and just in general, how you're sexual by yourself. Because guess what? Two of you walked into that space together, but you brought you into it. So if vanilla looks exciting to you, and take it to the left, take it to the right, faster, slower, done. If that's how you go, that's how you go. Obviously, he's still there. And so it's not that he's ready to leave. He just wanted to try something different. And I feel that sometimes women look at the word different as that's a reflection completely on me. And I'm the one who got something to fix because why do you want something different? Well, if you ate pizza every day and somebody was cooking a delicious steak, you would still, unless you're vegan or a vegetarian, you sniff it like, ooh, that smells good. You might want to try something. Not to say you're going to eat it every day. You just tried something different. And again, I'm going to keep saying it's not that you're not enough. And I'm going to keep saying that because that's what repeats in your head a lot. I'm not enough. Oh, well, it's just because I'm not enough. Oh, it's just because. Well, I'm going to keep saying you are enough. It's not about you. Maybe he's just curious himself. And like I said, guys are funny that way. Maybe he wanted to get a reaction to see how far it could go, to see, is it okay for me to get into this type of conversation with you? So again, I'm not gonna take up your whole show here because there's so many different conversations that could come from this. But I wanted to jump in because a lot of times I think the point really here is you find that conversation and maybe you have a jump off point from that. So, there are things that may end up you may find yourself having those conversations. They're more erotic than the actual physical act of sex itself, And so in having that conversation, now that he feels comfortable in saying it to you, like I said, I don't know if it's a rice and beans and sex conversation. I don't know if we're in sex and having the sex conversation. The point is, you just want to see where it leads. And I always say, if you can jump into his bed, you can jump into his head, and vice versa. And it's very, very, very important that you feel just as comfortable to do both. So, and this is not by any means a conversation you have over the phone, not even a video call. You do this in person so you can read each other's body language, but especially the fact that he's the one that brought it up. He's the one who asked for the threesome. He's the one who asked to arrange it. All right. Bring the conversation back up again. Not only do you bring it back up, you bring it up in a playful way so that he doesn't feel like it's uncomfortable. So, hey, you know what? The other day you asked me for a threesome. I'm just curious. What made you ask me? And then stay silent. Watch his whole body answer the question. Does his eye shift? Is he licking his lips? Is he flickering with his fingers? Is he shuffling around? Is he looking around? A lot could be told by that. And by the same token, just in watching him talk to you about what he finds exciting about it, find out why he wants it. Because maybe there are other little things that are around it that you can find a comfort space for you to jump in on. But definitely make it an opportunity rather than a target back at yourself. So I just felt that was important to kind of speak on and for her to understand.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I need you to repeat something. You said if you can jump in his, what was the bedhead thing, please? Can you repeat that?
Well, as a result, you might have some bedhead, but no. What I was saying is if you're comfortable to jump into his bed, then you should be comfortable to jump into his head. Woo! And vice versa.
You can jump in his bed. You should be comfortable jumping in his head. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
That was
awesome with the key message of you are not inadequate. Thank you from one queen to another. Thank you so much for joining me here on stage. Woo! That was awesome. Let me see the feedback here in the comments. Again, make sure that you go and let me know what your thoughts are. Your thoughts are powerful. Your input is valuable. And we want to hear what it is you have to say. So going into the comments here, we have, we have True Tony, who gave us 4/5 to a threesome. And True Tony says, I asked, is it okay for a partner to ask his woman for a threesome? And True Tony says, only if 2 women. And he says, yes. Says no, And it should be from someone who's out of town. Thank you so much for your input. And we have Sandra, who said, please, to the fact that this man says, I want us to do this for you. In her question, she says that her man says he wants it for her. And Sandra says, please, and goes on to say he wants it for him. And then what goes on to say the question, another man or a woman, right? That changes things. I don't think he was talking about another man. Thank you so much again for your input. We have someone here that's going to be joining me on stage. All right, next person who is on, you are tuning in to the Ask Schellie show, and we are discussing a woman who wrote in to say that her partner asked for a threesome. She wants to know if she should be offended. What are your thoughts or what are your questions? If you are ready to speak, you can unmute your line. You are on the stage on the Ask Schellie show.
How you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
I'm fine. Well, listen to the question. I would say this. Too many times we get upset when people aren't honest and open with their feelings. I think that she should be happy. She should be excited that he is coming to her and is actually being honest. Too many times people don't get asked. It just happens without their knowledge and they never find out. So the mere fact that there's something that he wants to experience and he's saying, hey, I want to experience this with you, I don't see what the problem is.
All right. Bam. From a male perspective, thank you so much for calling in to the Ask Schellie show. And the person who just joined the stage with me says, he's being honest and he's saying, I want to share this with you, and he doesn't see anything wrong with it. Thank you so much. I love the feedback. Anyone else who is on, if you're tuning in live, you can go into the comment section on Facebook, click the link. It'll take you right here on stage with your emotional intelligence expert, and you can provide your feedback or ask any additional questions right here live on stage. So thank you again. Make sure you let me know who you are tuning in from. Click share, share, share. We want this to go to the masses because you never know when someone is struggling with the same question. So here I go. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Put your comments in the comment section. You could do that on Facebook and on YouTube. First and foremost, this is a common request. It is a common fantasy for many men and women as well. In this particular case, though, this is a woman who's writing in about a man who's making that request. So within this context, I just want to make it known it is common for a man to have these fantasies of having sex with two women and watching some girl on girl action. This is also a very common matter that comes into play in my office when conducting intimacy coaching with husbands and wives or individuals who are in exclusive partnerships, is what I call them. So generally what I do to assist couples is helping them to find their happy place, their safe space, their bedroom culture where they can maximize their intimacy within the boundaries of their reported morals and values. So again, this comes up pretty often. I want to say I'm in total agreement with the first person that came on stage with me and saying, I know that you're feeling inadequate, but this challenging question, right? This challenging situation, there are a lot of opportunities in this challenge. Absolutely. Opportunity for great conversation. Lots of opportunity to go a little bit deeper into the root of those desires. We're going to get into that in just a moment. But the main point is that there are many opportunities here to really strengthen your relationship. So see this challenge as an opportunity. I love what our second guest had to say, our second guest that joined on stage, which is, it's pretty cool that he was honest with you. And I think that there's a lot to work with because he was honest enough to share. There are many individuals that are not honest about their fantasies, men and women both. And as a matter of fact, many times in trying to fulfill those fantasies in a very dark and dishonest way could tear relationships apart. So we're seeing some strengths here. So let me tell you about Ask Schellie. So I was created, right, by God and sent here into the earth to encourage and empower others through the application of kingdom protocols and psychological principles. When I say kingdom protocols, for those who don't understand that language, I'm talking about the kingdom of heaven. So as an intimacy coach, my role is to help couples maximize their attachment and their connectedness that they have with one another. So my goal and my role is to help husband and wife or exclusive partners to achieve full sufficiency in one another. My role is to help maximize sexual fulfillment in one another. My role is to help activate adventure between each other. My role is to help maintain openness to novelty between two people, between each other, right? Between two people, one and the other, husband, wife, exclusive partners, right? Those who are exclusively dating, who are seriously dating, who are going to get married, and helping them to learn the principles, let me say the principles, right? The psychology behind intimacy. That is my role, to strengthen the marital unit, to strengthen intimacy and readiness between exclusive partners. That is what I do. So from that perspective, okay, coming from that perspective, enhancing intimacy, which is into me, see, in all vulnerability, into me, see, not into we, see. Do you guys get my point? Right? I'm an intimacy coach, into me, not into we. So again, from that perspective, I may have somewhat of a old-fashioned perspective when it comes to that. This just doesn't sound like a safe choice for your relationship. To entertain another party does not appear to be a safe option for your relationship simply because you feel the way that you feel. And there is nothing wrong with the way that you feel. You're not comfortable with the idea, and bam, you're not comfortable with the idea. So I would encourage some, what do we call it on the Ask Schellie show? Courageous conversation, right? I would encourage some deep conversation about bedroom expectation to ensure that needs and safe desires are being met. Because I don't know how many times in intimacy coaching we do this, like session 2 and 3, where two people just sit and write a whole list of the expectations that they have with the other, mind, body, and soul. There is something in my eye. I'm so sorry that my eyes are twitching and I could barely see. Back to expectations. So within the second or third, we have two people who are in sessions write down all the expectations that they have of the other person, mind, body, and soul. They circle those expectations that are met. They underline the ones that are not met. And often there's so much surprise to what is being identified as unmet expectations. So this is a good time to take a look into those expectations, really take a look at what's being met and what possibly may not be met. As a matter of fact, before we even get to expectations, before we even get to discussing and assessing and taking a deep dive into expectations, we have to assess how healthy your relationship is. And we do this by looking at 3 zones: cold, warm, and hot. Cold, warm, and hot. And so I have a curriculum that I work couples through, and it's called sex zones. And it helps couples to maximize their functioning and maximize their intimacy in 3 different settings: cold, warm, and hot. So just to give you an example, the cold zone is like principles such as trust and communication and unified vision, where 2 people find purpose in them being together. It promotes emotional safety, financial safety. Make sure it really focuses on making sure that the schedules of the 2 people who love one another reflect that they love one another and prioritize each other. Right? It's one thing to say that you love and prioritize. It's another when your calendar doesn't reflect that. So we look at schedules. We assure that interactions between husband and wife are positive, full of laughter and connectivity, that there's support for one another, unconditional support of one another. 2 people are in tune. That means that you can say, without even looking at your partner's paper, let's go back to that expectations exercise, and you can tell me everything he or everything she wrote down for mind, body, and soul expectations. I'm talking about how in tune 2 people are with one another. Do they care for one another? That's the process of prioritizing the mind, body, soul needs, those physical needs, spiritual needs, those emotional needs of the person that you love, and prioritizing them above your own. And again, did I say laughter? Let me say that again. That's so important, laughter. Why? Because when we laugh, our bodies produce hormones that cause us to feel trust and in connectivity with others. And so that is what we look at in the cold zone. Then we assess the warm zone. That's your alone time. That's your quality time, when 3 forms of contact are happening at once. We should know this by now, class. What are those 3 forms of contact that should be happening at once that promotes this strong attachment and bonding between 2 people who love one another? And that skin contact, eye contact, verbal contact. Are you having conversations of care with one another? I know you guys are probably like, aren't we talking about a threesome, right? But you got to understand that sex is all about what? What have we talked about? Intimacy, right? It is so important. Intimacy can maximize your sexual experience and gratification in ways that you could have never, ever imagined. So sometimes we focus on skill and positions, and it's great for a while, and then it loses its power. Why? Because there's no intimacy. Intimacy is the foundation for great sex. So going back to conversations of care and making sure that we're connecting with each other on a deep level. You know what I feel about my purpose and my fulfillment and feeling like I matter in this world. That's what conversations of care. We look at in the warm zone, flirting. Are we sending those pictures in a safe way, right? But those pictures to kind of put the stove top on warm so that when you get home, it makes it a lot easier to put it on hot. Sexually loaded conversations in an appropriate way. Looking at your sexual toolbox, right? Making sure that your toolbox is fully stocked, that you are ready to do the things that are safe within your bedroom culture. Your sexual intelligence is high. You understand what your partner needs and desires. That open communication is there. Then we assess the hot zone. And that is when we maximize the use of all of our senses to promote an amazing sexual experience for the person that you love. What does she like to see? What does she like to smell? What does she like to taste? What does she like to hear? Where are her erogenous zone on her body, and vice versa? We do this to really assess how healthy your relationship is, because before we start talking about bedroom culture, we have to make sure that your relationship is at a place that can support that, right? So we want to make sure that the relationship is healthy. We don't even know if you're married. You said you guys have been together for a while. That's some missing information. You know, the first person that came in and joined on stage said a lot of great things, so many true things about the information that's missing. We don't know the context in which this question was asked. Was it texted? Were you guys in bed when it was brought up? So there's a lot of really, really great information that probably would have helped us to give some better feedback. But without that, just know that should you be offended? And the answer is absolutely not. You have someone that was honest. This is an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into the root of that desire. Right? Into the root of that desire, we can really, really use this as an opportunity to strengthen your relationship. I will say many times when couples may be getting a little bored with sex, they feel like the go-to is to invite people into their intimate space. It happens all the time. When couples come in and they're feeling a little bored, they want some excitement. They just want to take it to another level. You know, they need some newness, right, in their intimate space, and they feel like the go-to is to invite someone into the intimate space, or to go swinging, or let's go to one of those clubs and have this type of experience. I knew someone that did that. Their relationship ended within 2 months of that experience. They went to some party together, and one of those swinging parties, I suppose, and I'm not speaking bad about them. I'm just letting you know what their experience was. And so they went to this party together, and it was for the purpose of exploring sexual interactions with others. And so the gentleman went his way and started to do his thing. The wife was a little hesitant and felt like, you know what, I don't know if I can do this. So she starts walking around to go to, her husband to say, I changed my mind. Right. And so she finds him actively engaging in sexual intercourse with someone. So she says, well, that was too late. So I guess I need to complete this commitment that we made to have this experience. So she goes, someone invites her to this interaction. So she's having sex with this man. And so he goes and finds them finishing. I will say that. And he could not take it. He couldn't take it. He could not take it. He lost his mind over that and was very apologetic and felt like it was something that he truly thought that he was ready to see, and he wasn't. And so they separated about 2 months after that. And then it took about maybe 6 to 8 months to finalize their divorce. They were a very young couple. They got married right at 18 years old. They had been married for about 3 to 4 years. So, it's not for everyone. I just want to say that there's so many other options to keep the bedroom alive and fresh and spicy. There's so many other options outside of bringing individuals into your intimate space. So it's just about exposing yourself to the new information that will bring you that experience, those new experiences. Learn. There's so many more options outside of let's get a girlfriend together, right? And I love what you said. I think that was Sandra, right? She says, yeah, that was more for him. Then for her, this man says, you know what? It's for you. It's more for you. Okay, well, let her arrange the threesome and let some 6'6" man walk through the door and let's see if it's for her then, right? So there, obviously there's some selfishness there, maybe not complete honesty when he said that. So again, there's so many opportunities here to dig a little bit deeper and strengthen your relationship with some courageous conversation, really digging deep into those cold, warm, and hot zones, assuring that you're doing everything on the spectrum to promote an amazing sexual experience with your exclusive partner. All right, so let me go here. Let's go. All right, so, oh man, there's so much that I need to catch up on. Thank you guys so much for your engagement. All right, let's see. We have Jackie Ganthier, she says, if they have been together a while, yes should be okay. Communicating for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning. If they have been together a while, yes, you should be okay. Communicating for sure. Absolutely. When you're together for a while, we have to make sure that we are maximizing our communication. Where did you learn to communicate effectively within the context of a romantic relationship? Let's start there, because sometimes we have to unlearn a lot of lessons when it comes to how we communicate with people that we love. But this is so important, because without great communication, we have this person now feeling inadequate. She says, I thought we were sexually thriving. Apparently we're not. That is not true, queen. Just because he asked you for a threesome doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with your intimacy with one another. This requires much more conversation. Do not jump to conclusions without having those courageous conversations. Sandra says, true. He did voice that he wanted, instead of stepping outside the relationship. Martine says communication is key, and it should be okay to be not comfortable with such a request. Absolutely. You know, sometimes we just we're in this space where I feel like, you know, we're socialized to have to accept certain things. Like, it's so common, swingers is common, and, you know, menage a trois, threesomes, you know, we don't have to be force-fed to accept certain things. It is okay to not be okay with it. Absolutely. It's okay to say that you are not okay with it. However, I want to take this opportunity to make our intimacy all that it can be. Thank you so much, Martine, for sharing that. Again, thank you, Dawn, for tuning in. We have Sandra says, I like that. Your toolbox. Yes. We just need to assure that our intimacy toolboxes are overflowing, right? I want to see your intimacy toolbox. How dare you come into my office and talk about how boring sex is, and I open your toolbox and see one position. Now, toolboxes, of course, it's an analogy, right? It's not real. Although it can be real too, right? That's a whole different show, right? A whole different show. But you don't have much in your toolbox. You have to expose yourself to new information. Be open-minded. Together, you guys can say, this is acceptable for our bedroom culture, and this is outside of those boundaries. And guess what? That's okay. That's you and your boo. And you guys are making these, having these discussions together. I call them an intimacy toolbox. Thank you, Sandra, for your feedback. Jackie says, erotic poetry. Woo! Games, cards, toys between the couple for sure. Thank you so much for that lesson. Erotic poetry, games, cards, toys between the couple for sure. Martine says, LOL, I don't know what you were laughing at, but I'm laughing with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see, Jackie says, honest conversations are key for growth. Right? We have to make sure that we take this wow, this is an opportunity where we can, do a staycation, have these deep conversations. We run from challenges in this world, period. We run from challenge. Like, how were we socialized to do that? There are opportunities in every challenge. Let me say that there are opportunities in every challenge, right? Even when it comes to spiritual battles, I stopped. There's certain language I don't say anymore. I don't say why me anymore. I say try me. There are opportunities in every challenge. We just have to change our minds about the challenges and start assuming that my relationship is not healthy, it's over, our sex life is horrible. Wait, let's talk before jumping to conclusions. Martine says education as well. I just heard about Will Smith's daughter being polymorous. Did I say that right? And again, she is very upfront, and anyone getting in with her would be aware of this. I had to have that conversation with my 18-year-old son to be aware. Again, Martine says education as well. I just heard about Will Smith's daughter being polyamorous. I think polyamorous. Am I saying that right? Anyway, she is very upfront, and anyone getting in with her would be aware of this. I had to have that convo with my 18-year-old son to be aware. Great conversation. I'm happy that you brought that up. We have to have open conversation with our children too. We have to find that very safe space to talk about those intimate things. And most of us did not have those conversations. For most of you that know, I'm a very, very proud Haitian American woman. And these were not conversations that we had. And so we have to make sure that we get comfortable having these conversations so that we have children. We're raising children with not only strong self-confidence, but strong sexual confidence that comes by education and having a high sexual intelligence. Thank you so much for that. We have Jackie that says the worst thing you can do is close the door to communication. So that means that you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Sandra says that was good, Martine. Jackie says otherwise he can always find someone who will. Woo. He can always find someone who will. Okay, polyamorous. Is that how it's said? I got to keep up with all of the different identities. So thank you so much. If you can go into the comment section and let us know and give us an explanation. Oh, okay. Hi. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ask Schellie show. Okay. So I hope I'm saying polyamorous. Is that correct? Let me know. I want to make sure that I don't say anything incorrectly. Thank you so much, Martine, for confirming that. So bottom line is, don't be offended, be curious. That was from the first person that joined us on the stage. Don't be offended, be curious. Take this challenge and see it as an opportunity. We have individuals who are on the stage. Let's see. I can't. Okay, so these are private messages. These are private messages for people, for those who have joined on the stage. And it says it is also common for women to want to do this. It is common for people to always desire to experience different things, taste different food, and travel to different places. Thank you so much for your comment. So the reason why I can't highlight it is these are individuals who are on the stage sending their information or sending in their questions and their comments. Your mate is asking you to go on a trip with him together. So someone is taking the whole experience of a threesome as if it were a trip. Keyword is together. That is because they were supposed to swing together. Okay, I see what he's saying. He's talking about the scenario with the two that went to whatever that party was, and they ended up divorcing about 6 to 8 months after that experience. And another guest says, when you go to a swingers party or club, you swing together, you don't separate. Thank you for that, because I'm not really sure how it works. I appreciate your feedback. So basically what he's saying, the reason why it did not work for them is because whatever their sexual escapades were or were supposed to be in that party was supposed to be done together. I feel, I feel that those experiences we get maximized intimacy and gratification and fulfillment within the context of a marriage. So I also believe, as an intimacy coach, that allowing people or trying to add people to that intimate space when you need novelty or excitement, or you just want to bring something new to your relationship, there are so many other options outside of bringing a third party. Not to say that if someone decides that within their bedroom culture that this is something acceptable for them, they've talked about it, it works, they have a healthy relationship, it can support those decisions, it can support what those boundaries that they set for themselves, then that is something that two people will decide on their own. This is not something that's going to, my feedback may not apply to everyone. It's just a perspective. Okay, let's see. We have another comment. Here. Sandy Chambers, how does this work in a Christian marriage or relationship? And like I said earlier, and this is a really, really great question, because within that covenant marriage, there are certain belief systems that go along with that. So one of the things that I said, Sandy, earlier was, in intimacy coaching, it is important to partner with husbands and wives and helping them to find what their bedroom culture looks like, right? To help them in exploring those things that they find acceptable within, this is what I said, within the boundaries of their standards and their morals. So if a threesome is outside of that boundary, then we have an issue, right? Because it's no longer safe, because it's outside of what we said was our boundary as husband and wife. And those boundaries, there are a lot of things that come into play when we set those boundaries, right? Lots of things that come into play when we set those boundaries. They're primarily our standards, our morals, our values go into assuring that the decisions that we make about our bedroom culture with our exclusive partner, right, are in line with what we declare we believe. And Sandy says, I'm sorry, I got it. Like, no, you're fine. I just want to make sure that you know I'm not going to hell, okay? So yes, we make sure that when we are creating and helping individuals create these boundaries and honor those boundaries, that we're doing it within the boundaries of what they say that they believe. And Sandra says, within the boundaries of their standards and morals. I like that. See, when we start doing things outside of that, like if this woman does it to make him happy, we have a problem here, because it's outside of what you're comfortable with. And that is when we start doing things that are outside of our comfort level, outside of our belief systems, it serves one party, not the other. When we start doing things like that, we start to open the doors for major toxicity in that relationship. So we have concluded, I believe, that it's not a question to be offended by. You are not an adequate queen. Just have the conversation with your loved one. You can always reach out for more support on how to, to reintroduce that topic into your day-to-day conversations with the person that you love. But you are adequate, queen. This doesn't mean that you guys don't have a thriving sexual life. This does not mean that he's not happy with your intimacy. So don't make conclusions. Have those courageous conversations. See this challenge as an opportunity, as a dozen of opportunities to take deep dives and make your relationship stronger as a result. To my consultation team, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Ask Schellie show. And for those of you who want more, you can always visit with me at www.askschellie.com. You can book a consultation there. You can buy my books there. You can reach out to me and connect with me. For those of you who were watching today and said, you know what? I never ever thought that I would need more support, but I think I do. You can reach our practice at info@askschellie.com. Again, you can also connect with us right on our website, www.askschellie.com. For those of you who have questions, your dying questions, your challenging questions, feel free to send them into info@askschellie.com. You can also send your questions right on our website, www.askschellie.com, and send your question about your relationship, about your sex life, about your mental health. Send in your questions. That is what we do live every week. We highlight your question, and don't think nobody else will ever have the same question. You would be surprised. So send your questions into info@askschellie.com. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me at Ask Schellie. And again, don't forget to visit with me. You can book me there as a speaker. If you need a hostess, if again, you're needing someone to come out to your work, let's say, you know what? You know that your job setting needs a taste or a dash or a splash of Ask Schellie. Go ahead and book me again at www.askschellie.com. For those of you who are tuning in today, remember that you have no competition. When you are in your lane, no competition. The only competition you have is who you were yesterday. Amen. The only competition you have is who you were yesterday. So in everything that you do, walk upright, walk strong, know that there is a purpose for your life. That is why you have the responsibility to get well, to get healed, to assure that there are no obstacles in your way, that there are no obstacles and no challenges to keep you from being all that God has called you to be. You are an answer to a world problem. We need you. You owe us your gifts. So understand that you are your greatest asset. You have the responsibility to get well. The atmosphere has to support that process as well. And so take the time to maximize your emotional intelligence. Prioritize yourself because your wellness matters. Again, your wellness matters. Thank you again for tuning into the Ask Schellie show. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And again, thank you for giving me you for 1 hour. Click share and be sure to join us here live next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Next Tuesday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the I Am Beautiful platform, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. I'm on 2 platforms. I'm loving what the Lord is doing with this platform, and I thank you for your support and for you making it happen. Again, this is all about being committed to being an irreplaceable version of yourself. Do it today. Blessings.